Hi everyone, Evie here, the Greek goddess of great reading. Today I will be reviewing Galileo's Stepdaughter by McCarter. Albert Einstein is quoted as saying, "I know not with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones." For Ellia McAllister, it couldn't be more accurate. Thousands of years after a devastating cataclysm, humanity lives in a new dark age. Technology and science are forbidden, and a matriarchal church rules society. However, Ellia is ruled only by her curiosity. Defying the church, she learns that all is not as it seems in the holy books, and that humans once traveled to the stars and possibly beyond. Her knowledge and defiance will mean her death and the death of her family unless she escapes. When she meets the mysterious Kieva, a nomadic rover, she soon learns that more is going on in the church than she ever thought possible. Without his help, her life, the lives of thousands of others, and mankind's future are at risk. Can she set her own beliefs aside, her ways of life, and trust a stranger, even if trusting him might mean her death? I like that this book depicted a post-apocalyptic world where the society was ruled by females, kind of flipped on its head, the patriarchal society that we kind of still have today. When you get married, you generally take your husband's name, or you keep your own name, but normally you take your husband's name. There's not many cases in today's society where men will take their wives' names. But in this society, stuff like that happens, and females are revered because they're the ones who will carry on the line of their family, which is true even in today's society. The only way that a man carries on the line is by giving his name to his wife. But that's not really biologically carrying the line. Women carry the line biologically. That's natural. So I actually like that this post-apocalyptic world depicts women as that important. But even though that this matriarchal world is something that I like in my head, it does have its downsides, because just like men can become corrupt and distort views, so can women. And it seems that society is very strict in that it forbids science, it forbids anything that isn't their strict religion and their ways of life that they know themselves. And Ellia, the main character, is completely against all of that. Not outwardly spoken, because she realizes the dangers of speaking out in such a society that she lives in at that moment, but that is why she wants to run away from home, and she tries to do it in a way that still allows her mother and her brother to keep their stations and to not be shamed by her departure, and so she can have her own freedom as well. Ellia's character was curious. She was maybe in her early 20s, it said in the book, and she seemed more like a curious teenager, because obviously she hadn't been exposed to many things in her life. The only reason she was exposed to things was because of her father when he was younger, and he took her on his travels because he was a great scientist and great philosopher, which were things that were kind of looked down upon even in their society then. But she learned all these things from him, so that's why now that he is dead, she still sort of keeps his memory living by trying to discover all these things and reading these old books from before the burn, as they call it, which I'm assuming is the event that occurred that made the world start over again. And this book tries to use religion as religion is used nowadays, kind of like a fear sort of tactic, by saying, oh, you must do this, you can't do that, or God will spite you. And that's kind of similar to how religion is sometimes used today in society. It's used quite often as a fear tactic as opposed to a sort of promotion of people's faith, which it has strayed away from. And I think it's showing that even in a world renowned and renewed, that something as pure as what religion is supposed to be can still become distorted and corrupted. And this distortion and corruption is what leads Ellia and the rover she meets, Kieva, to try to save the people from the church's sort of views and commandeerings of society. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen. The book sort of left off with, obviously there's supposed to be a sequel, and I might pick it up. It was interesting enough, and I kind of want to see what's going to happen next, because when I read the relationship between Kieva and Ellia, at first I thought Kieva was quite older than her and more of a father figure, but it seemed that Kieva might actually have feelings for Ellia near the end of this book, and I kind of want to see what happens with that in the second book, if there is a romance that blooms. Because Ellia has no idea if that is the case. She is left at the end of this book in a kind of precarious position, and we're not quite sure what's going to happen to her. So I think that the author set up the ending very well and a good cliffhanger that you kind of want to and need to pick up the next book if you're curious about what's going to happen. If you guys have read Galileo's Stepdaughter and you liked it or want to tell me what you thought of it, post your views in the comments. Hit subscribe if you guys like what you see. My Twitter and website are linked in my bio. Make sure you guys pick up Galileo's Stepdaughter by McCarter if you haven't already. I'm Evie, the Greek goddess of great reading, and until next time guys, keep reading.